Folks, this is insane. This is insane. Yeah, I don't know how else to say this. I'm gonna read the report that we just got from Ravensburger, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. So this is what they're saying. Disney Lorcana TCG bans two cards from competitive play. Today, the Ravensburger Disney Lorcana TCG team announced removing two cards from eligibility, known as a ban in the core constructed format. A ban is an important part of keeping a trading card game like Disney Lorcana thriving and fresh. The game design team chose to ban Hiram Flaversham, Toymaker, and Fortisphere to ensure the greatest diversity of successful strategies was available to competitive players. The ban is in effect as of April 8th, 2025, meaning all Disney Lorcana events taking place after that date will no longer accept deck lists with those cards included. This marks the first time cards have been banned since Disney Lorcana TCG launched in August of 2023. That is crazy. That is crazy. Hiram Flaversham is a staple in Sapphire. It has been a staple in Sapphire since set 2, since Rise of the Floodborn. There would be no red blue, no ruby sapphire if not for Hiram Flaversham. That is the card that needed to come out. That and Popsicle are the reason why Ruby Sapphire was actually able to become a deck starting in Floodborn. And now what we've seen is that over the course of 7 sets, Flaversham has affected the design space and has affected the ability for items to exist that are good items. And over the course of the sets, Hiram has become worse and worse and worse as a mechanism for making Ruby Sapphire too consistent. When you have a deck that is running at a very, very high top end, being able to have 11 cards in your hand and have the best top end of any color combination is probably not what you want. If you're thinking about the game from a design perspective, you probably want that player to have a respectable number of cards in hand, maybe 2 or 3, have some answers, and you want to force them to dig cards like Tala, cards like Prince John to look for items. So certainly when we think about the identity of Ruby Sapphire, it was clear looking at the dual inks that came out in set 7. The goal was to get it to play a lot of items, to use Bell. You could tell that Bell, the 3-drop Bell that plays for free with an item, you can tell that was meant for Ruby Sapphire, because when you look at the Duel Link cards, we have a Shift Bell. You have the little Bell, removes items from play. The big Bell takes those items that were removed from play and puts them on the bottom of the deck. It could not be more obvious that the direction that Ravensburger was trying to get players towards was a Bell synergy that uses things like Unconventional Tool, and yet Flaversham made it where it didn't matter. It didn't need that. We don't need you, Bell. We need to just draw more cards because we can do that. And so Flaversham has encroached on the creativity and the design space, and therefore, Hiram, it is time to say goodbye. And I'm going to be, from my own perspective, I'm glad. I got to cast the SSG tournament this past weekend, and I wasn't there, but I did get to watch the 3K that happened on Sunday. And listen, that even the players playing the deck knew that they were not having a good time. We recorded deck profiles that day where many of the players were regretful that they played that deck. That is not good. I felt like when I was playing Bucky back during Bucky meta, that was bad. Now Fortisphere is an interesting one. I did not expect Fortisphere. I'm not surprised by Hiram. Fortisphere does surprise me. When I think about it, I think the goal here is to take Bell away from Sapphire Steel, or at least to make it less effective. Bell is a cool card. Scrooge McDuck is a cool card. I think that Steel, specifically Fortisphere, makes it too consistent. You have 2 cards that are able to be played to draw a card to increase your chances of getting that Bell in order to play it on turn 1, effectively locking out aggro players. If you cut the chances of you drawing a card in half, depending on which of the 1-drops you choose, because there are still 1-drops in Steel, there's other 1-drops that you can play, they just don't draw a card. That's the biggest problem. All Fortisphere needed to not do was to say draw a card, and the whole thing could be solved. In all honesty, Fortisphere just needed an errata that got rid of draw a card, and I think that would have been solved. So what you've got now is a meta that is just anywhere. It could be anywhere. This weekend, I'm going to get an opportunity potentially to cast some pretty high-end games. On Saturday specifically, I'll be casting some games. I'm really excited to see what the impact is going to be on that meta. It's going to be interesting to say the least. I want to know, what do you think? Let me know down in the comments down below. Is this a good change? Is this a bad change? Are you mad? Are you happy? What are you going to be building now that Hiram is gone? That poor little rat, that toy maker, is no longer making toys. And that Fortisphere, I guess it's a rock. I guess it won't be rocking anymore. I don't know. Yeah, it's part of the Disney Lorcana lore. But anyway, I'm curious. Tell me more about what you're going to be doing with your decks now that Hiram and Fortisphere are no longer playable in this game. And until next time, happy questing.